Here's something you all haven't seen in a while. It's me with short hair. Here's something else you haven't seen in a while. The Park Avenue. Sadly, it is time for the Park Avenue to go away, so I bought a whole bunch of parts for it. We've got a new battery because the battery was bad. We're going back to stock pulley, going back to stock fuel injectors, and fixing a vacuum leak that is very common on these, leaking fuel everywhere. The lower intake manifold warps on all these because they're reliable engines that don't have problems, and why would you ever buy a BMW over one of these? So the fix, instead of actually having the intake manifold milled flat or replacing it so it can warp again, is just to delete the gasket and replace it with thick gasket, compliant gasket, whatever you want to call it. And because right now if I smoke test this, the smoke just all comes out from all along here, and probably contributes a bit to our wacky fuel trims. Oh, that's why the fuel, I was wondering why the fuel smelled so weird, and I remembered it was corn. So we're gonna be tuning this, putting it all back to stock. This is a stock size 3.8 inch pulley that'll go on our hub, and we will throw some 91 octane back in this and a stock tune with the transmission don't blow up please tuning that also makes the shifting not feel like it's just broken all the time. Kind of wild looking at this thing, all the parts that I put on this. There's our new EGR tube. You can see the new valve cover gaskets. That's a whole new valve cover back there. These pulleys are new. The water pump down there is new. Coolant necks. Let's see, those radiator hoses are new. My super awesome custom trans mount there.
O2 sensors now.
O2 sensor back there, yep. A lot going on. Oh yeah, all the garbage vacuum system that always falls apart, which is now still kind of garbage. Anyway, now it has come for the Permatex Ultra Black. Apparently the way to do this is to glove up and smear a thin film around the places that need a seal. And then we're getting stock injectors put back in. This should go back together pretty quickly, actually. Just jinxed it. Man, I love finger painting. Put it on a little thicker on the supercharger itself, especially around the charge port area there. So we're gonna let that sit and set up just a little bit and then throw it back on here. And the tough part is getting it over and dropping it straight down so that we don't smear that stuff too badly. Oh, and put my coolant O-rings back. A lot of people just block these passageways off. They're for heating up the throttle body. I remember my 05 Ford Mustang had something like that, and I ended up just looping the lines, and it actually felt a lot better afterwards, but we'll just leave that stock for now.
The throttle's gonna be an issue if we go in with it that way, though. I like it this way. I have missed out. We've got the one stud for alignment and a dowel over here.
Okay, I'm on the stud.
I'm on the dowel. Where's that?
Boom! just like that, an engine is reassembled, mostly with no leftover bonus parts, shockingly. We've got the ZZ Performance stock size pulley on there, which kind of neat that they offer that, honestly. Just got to throw in a new belt, because I threw away my stock one because it was very cracked and old. And then we'll be good to go. Does the RTV need to cure more before we fire this up?
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll leave that for a while, and then we'll come back to this in the future. And now it's the next day. We took the car out for an extended test drive last night, did about 70, 100 miles or so, and overall it ran pretty good. We got most of the E85 out of it, filled it up with some regular gas and retuned it for that, and things are going pretty well. The only issue that we had was at the very beginning, I started to hear a little bit of a squeak, which then developed into a very, very prominent sort of belt tensionery noise. So I went and found this guy here. Very crunchy, as you can hear. So pulled that out, got a new one, we're gonna replace that. Not sure if that is what was actually making noise, but it's bad, so we'll replace it. The other problem we were having was a little bit of a weird idle issue despite all the numbers looking perfect. Our fuel trims were within 2%, which is pretty darn good. So what I did was I took the mass airflow sensor. I'm going to clean the throttle plates, just to summarize. Took out the mass airflow sensor, took out this sort of internal snap ring. I didn't use any snap ring pliers or anything, just a pick. And then I kind of pushed this out from the inside. That's why I use the MAF. So now you can get in there to the throttle blades, which look a little dirty. We thought maybe the idle air control valve was having to work too hard because the throttle blades weren't at the optimal idle setting. But we're getting great vacuum, so we're pretty darn convinced that there's no more vacuum leaks. Figured out why this car has always had problems, and it has to do with right here. That should be a 10mm bolt, and instead it is a stud with a nut on it. So I'm assuming that whomever messed this car all up before stripped a screw or lost a bolt or something and put that stud in there. Problem is that stud's not threaded all the way down. It's only threaded to, I mean, it's pretty much screwed all the way down as it is. And it wasn't actually tightening on that part of the supercharger is what we're guessing. So I put a couple washers in there and it tightened down nice and good, and we don't seem to have any vacuum leaks now. Overall, this thing runs like a very strong stock Park Avenue Ultra. So let's get let's see here. Need to get this stuff out of here. There we go. And get our new one. Here it is from O'Reilly's. This thing was like 20 bucks or so. Make sure it's the same size. Sure enough, looks a little different, but whatever. Do I use the washer? Have to. It's built in. A little bit confused there. There's the money right there. Ended up having to go to another O'Reilly's location that actually had the right part. Well, I mean, technically that other one was the right part according to their system, but I guess we had differing definitions of the word fits, but they let me return it, so we are all good to go. Let's throw this in here, and hopefully this is the only pulley that was making noise. Okay, got that pretty snug. There it is. Okay, so let's move on real quick. Gonna give these throttle blades a clean. I'm just using carb cleaner, and I'm just gonna try and open the throttle blades up and get in there. You can sort of see what's going on. There's a little bit of carbon in there. I'm not entirely convinced that's our idle blip, but whatever. If this doesn't fix it, I don't really care. It doesn't affect much of anything. Ugh, it is warm in here. Let's see if we get any more noises. This thing's probably not going to start super great because it's got a bunch of carb cleaner in it, but no, spins right over with the new battery in there. Not hearing any noise. Nothing under load. I think we're good. Yeah. Well, let's get the Ranger out of the way and go take this thing on a drive. Well, the squeaking is gone, and it seems to be running smooth, but I have no AC. I cannot win with this car. And I've got a fairly decent shake on the highway. I don't know what that's about. Vibe check. Yeah, it moves pretty alright for being stock. Hey guys, welcome to iPhone mode. Sorry about the echo. I don't have any sound deadening material in my living room really other than this disgusting stained carpet. But I thought I might as well explain where I've been for the last month and why it's been so long since there was an upload. Obviously, we had the Patreon special come out last Thursday, and I was really proud of that. But it was supposed to release about a month and a half ago. But some personal things have come up. A little peek behind the curtain here with YouTube. This is not a money maker. It's a hobby and a really effective money loser. Last year, I grossed, I think, $10,000 from AdSense revenue, and according to my tax guy, I spent $20 on the channel, just the channel itself, and that does not count insurance on the cars, which runs another $600 a month, because I have to maintain insurance on vehicles that are parked here in Wichita, and because I need to drive them occasionally. Hey, puppy. Fortunately, at the beginning of this year, I was actually able to more or less pay for everything that the YouTube channel needed using money from AdSense and other revenue sources that I had scraped together, so it more or less was self-sustaining. But expenses in my personal life have kept going up, and I was a little bit worried about money. And then about a month and a half ago, my wife of 7 years left me for... So I've been dealing with all of that for the last month, and that's actually where the Buick is going, because, you know, she needs a car, and it's... You know, any mechanic here in town will look at that and immediately be super pleased to work on it. The Insight is the only other car I have that really works all that well, and I'm one of the only people in town that actually has the tools to service the hybrid system and knows my way around that thing, I'm sure. So that wouldn't have been a very good option for her when it needs grid charged every few months and stuff. So I've been driving that and getting 55 miles a gallon. Speaking of fuel economy, there have been a lot of comments that the reason that car is getting such abnormally poor fuel economy, the Buick, is because I was on the 85, which is just not the case. It was getting abnormally poor fuel economy for a Park Avenue on E85, and even now that it is completely back to stock, it still only manages 17 miles per gallon over the course of a mixed city and highway tank. 3800s are just kind of like that. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. I had a LeSabre and I had a Riviera that both had the naturally aspirated 3800. It was a 97 Riviera and a 2000 LeSabre. The LeSabre would struggle to get 21 miles a gallon. The Riviera would easily get 30 on the highway no matter how you drove it. Same engines, same power outputs, both pulled strong, both ran great. Some of them are just better than others. I don't understand why. So that's what's been going on. Thankfully, I've got a lot of great friends here. Elliot Alvis is going through some stuff as well, so we've been hanging out a lot. John Ross and I have been, you know, you've seen me in a bunch of his videos lately. And then, of course, I've got all my other friends outside of just the Wichita YouTubers. So we're getting there. Hoping to get back into videos. I'd like to do some streaming on Twitch. The new season of Destiny just came out, and I have yet to play it, so I might stream that this coming weekend. If you want to check out my Twitch, that's down at the bottom. I haven't actually recorded any of the streams because I don't know how Twitch works, but I did stream The Witch Queen when that came out, and that was a good stream, a lot of fun. I think everyone had a pretty good time, and if you want to ask questions or just talk directly at me, that's a pretty good way to do it. So there we are. I'm left with nothing but manual transmission cars now. Everything is nice and pure, the way it should be. That sentence was weird. Thanks for watching.